Hi friends, this is Aubrey at Crybaby Settlement Homestead, and I am going to do an unboxing video right now where I show you over 8 pounds of seeds that I got from Everwilde Farms, and I am so excited. So let's get to it. So what do we have here, you guys? Yes, it is a bulk seed order. I love growing all kinds of plants, but I also like giving away seeds as gifts, trading with friends and family, and within my little club groups I'm in for gardening, and I also give some to my students. So this is 9 pounds of seeds. Actually, it's not quite 9. I had my son put it on the scale and it was like 8 pounds something ounces, but it's over 8 pounds of garden seeds. Let's go ahead and crack this box open and see what we have inside. My goodness, what do we have? What is this? That's pretty. Okay, this is called Clarkia, and it was actually apparently written about, when Lewis and Clark came west, and when this was one of the plants that they noticed. I wouldn't say discovered, because I'm sure people saw that before they did, but it's called Clarkia after Lewis and Clark. Isn't that beautiful? And this is actually a lot of seeds. It's not like a small packet, it's a really big packet. So what do we have? It's a lot. Well, it says it was tested in 2024, and it's 1/4 of a pound of seeds. This is Clarkia. How do you say this? Unguiculata. It says sow outside in spring, like 1/10 of an inch deep in full sun. It'll grow 24 inches, and it's an annual. Okay, so enjoy a profusion of bright colors with these showy spikes from coastal California. This wildflower is grown as an annual in northern areas. And when I looked it up, it says that it is an annual. It's not just in northern areas, apparently. It is great for flower beds, borders, containers, rock gardens, and native plantings. It says it's easy, which is great because if I want some of my students to plant this, I like to find plants that have historical significance so we can make those like cross-cutting connections between other subject areas. So they will grow the plants for gardening. There's so many science connections, and then having the history connection of Lewis and Clark is a really cool thing to add on there. So it says here, you don't want to have weeds. It adapts to seaside conditions, which is great because we're in the Pacific Northwest in Western Washington. Water regularly until blooming begins. 90 days after planting, that's nice. So after you plant it, in 3 months, you have flowers. It can tolerate drought at that point. It does not like excessive heat. Pinch after growing. So to encourage extra bushing, that bushy habit. So that's great. So if you want to have a shorter, bushier plant, you would want to pinch off the tips when they get to this point, and then remove spent blossoms. So you're going to deadhead it. And they grow taller. If they grow too tall, they might need staking, and it self-seeds, which is actually really something I want, is because I do want to collect seeds. And so if something self-seeds, not only will I find volunteers, but I'll probably be able to collect my own. So I think this is really beautiful, and there's a lot of seeds in here. One thing I like about Everwilde is like they have bulk seeds. They'll have like a seed packet of this that's smaller. But then they have like anywhere from like, I'm not saying for this particular seed, but they might have as small as like 50 seeds of something, but then they might have 5 pounds of it. So you have to look to see what they have in stock. And I always do like a little price comparison and try to get the best deal. Of course, if you buy a ton, you get a really good deal. But I'm like, hello. Like no one's going to spend, or, most people don't spend hundreds of dollars on a packet of seeds. But if you're like, okay, you know what? Could I actually use all of these? Absolutely. I bet you all of my gardening students are going to want to plant this. And this would make a really great gift. So I'll make my little seed packets up that say like, you know, the information, and I will give it away as gifts and for trades. So it's kind of nice. Like, you know, you find something that you really love, you give it to somebody who you care about, and then, you know, maybe they give you something back that they really love, something from their garden. I think that's a really beautiful tradition I would like to see happen more often, like the homemade gifts, and also like sharing seeds from our gardens, because there's stories to go with. So Clarkia is one of the ones I was really excited to get, and that, like I said, is 1/4 of a pound. The next one up is Candystripe Cosmos, and this is a lot of seeds in here too. They feel a little bit different. You know, like some seeds are like more dense and some are more fragile. These kind of feel like maybe they're fragile. I might rip it open and see what they look like. These were also tested in December 2024, used by November 2026. And I'll tell you this, they're being very conservative. I won't say generous. They're being conservative with the best by date. And that's because they don't want you to hold on to it forever and then try to plant them and then they don't grow. But I'm sure these will grow longer. They're in Mylar. You know what I mean? So this is Candystripe Cosmos. These are annuals. They can grow 48 inches tall. They like full sun, and you're supposed to sow them outside in the spring. So, pretty straightforward. It says it will attract many kinds of butterflies, and it's beautiful as a cut flower. That's something I want to start doing more of, is cut flowers, because I am opposed to bouquets in a way, because they're dying. But some plants, if you cut them, they will grow more. So let me see if that's the truth here. Let's see here. It attracts lots of different kinds of pollinators. That's excellent. So here's where I finally read it. It says, if blooming begins to decrease, cut the plant back to 12 inches for new growth, and more blossoms will come in about 4 weeks. So when you cut a flower, the entire plant is not dead. You will get more flowers from the same plant. So it kind of changes my perspective on bouquets and cut flowers. If by cutting some of them, you get more out of it. I don't feel guilty. I don't know if that makes sense. Why would you feel guilty if you cut a flower? But I do. Am I the only one who feels guilty cutting flowers? So this is nice, because if you cut some, then it will actually grow more. And they're so pretty. Pretty and pink. Candystripe Cosmos. And that's a lot of seeds. How many did we say that are in this package? A lot. 1/4 of a pound. That's a lot of seeds, you guys. That's a ton. Next up, whoopsie daisies, that's upside down. It's Cottage Pinks. Aren't those pretty? I guess I was thinking pink. Maybe it's because I'm a grandma now and I have a granddaughter, and so I've got all the pink and pastel colors in my mind. Cottage Pinks, aren't those dainty? Look, these right here look kind of frilly. They look kind of different. Those two look kind of different from each other. This is probably 1/4 of a pound too. It is. Perfect for a cottage garden. Their delicate blossoms bring sweet old-fashioned charm. And it's perennial, you guys. These are perennials. Cottage Pinks are perennials. Perennials. Dianthus plumarius. Okay, that's pretty. Dianthus plumarius. So outside in the spring. And it says year 2. So what does that mean here? Perfect for a cottage garden. Blah, 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 blah. Gives off distinct clove-like scent. So it smells good. It's easy to grow. That sounds good for my students. Mature plants will be drought tolerant and will only need watering if it's really dry. The plant usually has a rosette of leaves in its first season and flowers in the second. So that's what it says here. Year 2 is when it flowers. Though it may bloom in the first year if it started early enough. This plant readily reseeds itself, but volunteer seedlings can easily be removed if not wanted. I want them. Bring them on. Hello. This plant attracts bees and butterflies while resisting deer. Okay. I'm not sure if this is true of these, but I know that a lot of times when I've done research, usually when it says deer resistant, it also means like not edible for anybody or anything. So double check for yourself on all plants. And pop a comment if you know more about Cottage Pinks, because I have not grown them before. I've grown a lot of plants, and I grow mostly things that are edible and medicinal, but I am trying to branch out a little bit more because I really enjoy pretty things, you know? And, you know, I'm a girl, so I want something pretty. I want to look at something pretty in pink. Carmine King California Poppy. Orange California poppies are actually my favorite, and I have a lot of those. And when I saw the pink, I was like, you know, that's so lovely. 1/4 of a pound. It's a delicate rose pink with white centers. They are fit for royalty. And it's, let's see here, different color, obviously. Pink and orange are not the same color. Easy germination. I like that. Sow them in spring, just below the soil surface. Now, I have heard, like, if you compare the different plants that have the name poppy, they might not even be in the same genus. So you have to look at them. There are poppies that have those really big, like, seed heads that are really amazing. I've got some videos on those because I actually like the bread seed poppies and the ones that have like really big heads, and they like dry out and they've got like this chamber, and when the wind blows, they blow out of the chamber. It's really pretty. You can save those for like dried arrangements. But whenever I've had California poppies, I've never seen anything develop like that. So I think they're not botanically that similar. Okay. They tolerate drought, only need watering and extreme dryness. That's nice because then you can go on vacation. You don't have to like sit around and babysit them. That's nice. It blooms best in poor soil. That's true of quite a few plants. Some plants I've actually I gave them really good soil and organic compost and all this kind of stuff, like really cool stuff. And you're like, why are they not producing any flowers? Just a bunch of foliage. Well, nitrogen actually really increases the greenery, the leaves, but it doesn't necessarily encourage flowering. So sometimes flowers are brought up by stress because the plant goes, oh, you're going to die. You better have a baby. Hurry up. Okay. That's also like in third world countries, like, and in the past, women didn't live as long. And so we'd have babies when we were like, you know, teenagers. So that's kind of true with plants too. It's like if they think they're going to die, then they produce their fruit, or they produce their flowers. They produce their way of, they can reproduce themselves, right? So sometimes certain types of plants, if they have poor soil, you'll get more flowers. And if you have really rich soil, you'll get more leaves and fewer flowers, which is kind of true. When we're doing well, if a human is doing well, we usually have, you know, 1 or 2 kids and not a dozen. And it's just kind of like biologically, organisms are wired to know how risky it is for them, for their survival and the propagation and the continuation of their species. So we're wired to have more kids if we're not living as long, and we're wired to have fewer kids if we're living longer lives, and we have more time to have more. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's a biological and genetic kind of viewpoint here. So that's kind of interesting. So the more you give rich soil to these California poppies, the fewer flowers you're going to get. So I might do an experiment and plant some in like really rich soil and some in kind of poor soil and see what happens. It says remove faded blossoms for the most prolific blooming. That's also called deadheading. But I think a lot of seed companies aren't saying those terms anymore because it sounds kind of creepy, but also a lot of people probably don't know what it means. So deadheading is removing the faded flowers, and that's for the purpose of keeping the plant looking tidy and also encouraging growth of more flowers. It says it will reseed, which I think is great. And again, I want to save seeds. So I never will have to buy these again. It's a one and done situation, right? All right, what's next? So we have Dwarf Sungold sunflowers, and Is there a picture on here? Yes. Okay, so the Sungold sunflowers are a lot cheaper than the teddy bear. So I think they look the same. If you know a difference that's like a really noticeable difference between the Dwarf Sungold sunflowers and the teddy bear sunflowers, pop a comment. But I think they are so adorable. Like, I just want to squish them and cuddle them. They're so cute and fluffy. So I see this Dwarf Sungold sunflower, and I get that same feeling like I do for the teddy bear sunflowers, but they were a lot cheaper. So that is why I bought them instead of the others. And sunflowers are pretty much self-explanatory. They are easy. They are helianthus. And I'm not going to say it the way I want to say this. It's annuus. But I want to say it differently because I'm sarcastic and, yeah, and inappropriate. Annuals, obviously. Sunflowers are annuals. Now, I did buy some things in here that are perennial, but most of what we call a sunflower are annuals, and then some that are perennial might not be exactly the same species, so we'll take a look at that later. So these are, oh gosh, it says they are teddy bears. So here's the thing, I wonder, I'm not sure if it was the same company I was looking at, but when I saw the teddy bears listed, I saw some companies listing teddy bear sunflowers and Dwarf Sungold like they're different plants. Be careful, you guys, because sometimes you might be paying more for the exact same thing. You never know. Just take a look. So this is adorable. I think anybody would love flowers like this in an arrangement or just growing in your yard. I love it. So don't overwater. It can cause disease. Also, if you have some like mature sunflowers growing, don't try to get water on the flower head because that can cause them to get kind of squishy and start rotting and stuff like that. So if you want, especially if you want to save seeds, if you're watering your sunflowers, water around them and water the soil, but don't try to water the flower, the actual petals, because you want that to stay really fresh and not get rotten. And I know, I'm not sure if it's just me, but in my larger sunflowers, I will find earwigs, and the more damp the flower head is, the more earwigs I find. So you don't want to water these directly on the flower. Water around. I also like to put mulch around the soil of my sunflowers because it helps to prevent splashback onto the plant. And since I do want them to last long enough for the seeds to become viable, they're going to be in the soil for a while, and I don't want the stalks to rot. Also, you're going to need to protect them from some squirrels. If you live in Washington State, especially if you live near forests and parks, that kind of stuff where there's a lot of squirrels, you're going to have to protect them. Because once those seeds start to form, even before they're truly viable, once the seeds form, the squirrels will always chew and the stalk of my sunflowers and knock them over and then eat the flower heads. And actually the last time they did it, they took the whole flower head away. I don't even know where it went. But I could tell the top of the stalk of the sunflower was chewed and then pulled off. And I have really fat squirrels in my yard, so I am blaming them whether or not it was them or not. They are guilty, and I don't have to prove it. So many seeds in here. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. So here we go. There are early sunflowers. Now, these are called early sunflowers. They look different, don't they? Don't they look like something else you might recognize? Okay, so these are Heliopsis helianthoids. Heliopsis helianthoids. So it says it's a native sunflower. It's a showy perennial. So that's cool. So it's native to the United States. And if you look on their website, if you scroll down and click some buttons, you'll see maps, and it'll show you where their plants are native to, where they've been introduced and where they aren't found or where they're possibly invasive. These are native, so I don't have to be stressed out about like doing something mean to the local environment. So this is perennial, 50 inches tall, and it's going to flower in year 2. You don't have to plant it very deep, and you can fall sow, or you're going to need to cold stratify it for 4 weeks, cold and wet. So I will probably fall sow some of these. And isn't that exciting that they're perennial? I love that because not that I'm lazy, but I'm busy. And also I like positive surprises, like where like you plant something, you forget about it, and it grows back and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about you." I don't like surprises like surprise birthday parties. Like that would be terrifying to me. Like I don't like those kind of surprises. I like surprises like not that big a deal. But these are super beautiful. And so to break dormancy, you do have to cold stratify them. And it says 4 weeks. That's not bad. So if you kind of forget about it and you're like, oh, I really want to plant these this year, and it's like April, you can cold stratify them for 4 weeks and then plant them out in May. So that's a wonderful idea. If you deadhead the flowers, you're going to get prolonged blooming. So they actually use the word deadhead. Yep, see, I'm not crazy. They actually do use that word sometimes. Plants growing in partial shade or moist soil will reach taller than usual heights. Okay, that's nice. So you can plant these in the shade. Probably sun and shade. I think I'll do both. It'll be like a little experiment. And I got a lot here. This has got to be at least 4 ounces. Yeah, it's 1/4 of a pound, 4 ounces. Used by December 2026, but I know they are going to last longer than that, especially because they're in Mylar. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so it's Creeping Zinnia. Okay, I'm going to try to test myself. I think these are not true zinnias. Let's see if I'm right or not, but aren't they pretty? So when I saw the picture, I thought, oh, those look like sunflowers. Aren't they cute? Like little buttons. They're so cute as a button. And these are called, scientific name is Sentivalia procumbens, which is definitely not the typical thing. So if you look here, let's see what it says. It's native to Mexico. These fun yellow flowers have brown button-like centers. That's what I thought too. I thought literally sunflower buttons. The trailing habit of this popular annual makes it ideal for hanging baskets, container gardens, or a ground cover. I would like it better if it was a perennial, but I'm not going to complain. It's also very easy to grow. Easy germination, sow seeds in spring just below the surface at 70 degrees. So I'm going to be doing this like in May. Could probably do it in June too, but May will be best. I'm thinking anyway for like 70 degrees. Keep it moist. That's usually the case with seeds. Keep water seedlings regularly until they become established. And they grow quickly with very little care. Mature plants tolerate heat and drought well, do not overwater. The plant resists deer. So, awesome. Creeping Zinnia. Are these a true Zinnia? Because I'm feeling like that's a different scientific name. So I did verify that this is not a true Zinnia, and their website actually says that too. That it is actually, it looks like a black-eyed Susan. It also looks to me like a sunflower or a Zinnia. But because it is so similar looking to a Zinnia, that's how I got its common name, Creeping Zinnia. Now, they say it's an annual, but AI, trust them or not, whatever AI is, says that it can be a perennial in warmer climates, but it does complete its life cycle in a year. So, or it like can go to flower and seed. So the life cycle thing in a year means it can actually produce offspring. So the seeds will be produced in a year within a season. But I'm going to see. Like if I see it come back for more than 1 year, I will update you. But I'm definitely going to, like I'm not going to pull them up. So if they come back another year, I mean, I'm not sure if it, like, I'll be able to tell if they were self-seeding or if it was, like, the original parent plant. But I'll let you know. Okay, so this is the Creeping Zinnia. It's about 1/4 of a pound, too, I think. No, maybe it's a little bit less. It feels less. Maybe it's an ounce. Yeah, it's an ounce. That's still a lot of seeds, and the seeds are tiny. I can feel them with my fingertips. Do we have here, my friends? Remember, you can navigate with the chapters at the bottom if you want to skip to a certain type of plant. So this one here is called Canary Bird Zinnia. That's a lot of seeds. That's a lot. Isn't that beautiful? I like how globe-shaped it is, how big and round and puffy it looks. Canary Bird Zinnia. I love zinnias. They're so beautiful. These right here actually remind me kind of like of dahlias. I don't know. Zinnia elegans. And this is like a true zinnia versus the one here where it is Santivalia procumbens, right? Different genus name even. So the first word is a genus and the second word is a species. So it's not even the same genus. So this one is also an annual, which is expected for, it's a zinnia, a true zinnia. And these are all meant to be planted in 2026, but I know they're going to last longer than that. I've planted some seeds from other companies that were not packaged as nice, and they were supposed to be like expired like 10 years ago, and they still sprouted. So it'll last longer than that. And I'll do germination tests just to make sure, but it looks great. I'm excited about these. They're really beautiful. What else do we have, my friends? So we have, ooh, California giant zinnias. Aren't those beautiful? All those different colors. So if you're on the website and you wanted like a lot of variety, but you are on a budget, you could do a mix. Like I was looking today, I didn't buy them yet, but I was looking at buying some more bachelor buttons, and you can buy blue and pink and white all separate, but you can also buy them as a mixture, and it's about the same price. So it's like if you want to get more bang for your buck and you plan on mixing the colors anyway, then I would just buy the mixes where you get like lots of different colors. But if you're going to have like a bed of just purple flowers or just pink in one area, then I understand buying those separately. But if you're going to buy the mixed colors anyway, separately, you'll save a lot of money just by buying one packet, buy a bigger packet, and get one that's mixed. And you can always do like your own seed saving, where it's like you save the flowers from the white ones separate from the other ones, and now there will be mixtures of like cross-pollination. But if you do it for long enough, you can separate them yourself. It's not that big a deal. 1/4 of a pound, again, annuals. They're zinnias. These are going to be really big. So enormous zinnias, they can be 36 inches tall, and they're going to have really big flowers. I love that. These are going to look nice in a bouquet. I think that would be a good use for them. Let me see if it doesn't recommend that. It also says on here that it is very attractive to butterflies and bees. Oh, and one thing I noticed about zinnias is the ones that have the really beautiful centers where like the flowers, oh yeah, like that, right here. So you see the little tiny little petals on the middle? Those, for some reason, seem really attractive to more types of bees and hoverflies. They're like, I don't know, something really special about them, because it seems like the anatomy of the zinnia is attractive to certain types of pollinators. If you look really closely at a zinnia in the very center, it has like a little ring, and it has like more little petals in the middle. It looks like, oh my gosh, it looks like something so dainty, like a fairy tale. It's so pretty. Next up, I got a smaller packet of this one. It's the Creeping Thyme. I was like, you know what? I wanted to get a lot more, but the bigger packages of the Creeping Thyme were expensive. And I was like, I'll just seed save, and I know that it will spread, so maybe not needing to buy quite as much. And this is only 1/4 of an ounce, but it's very fragrant. And I was thinking I'd get some established, and then I want it to be in the walkways because I'm very into aromatherapy. And when I walk through my garden and I touch the lavender and the rosemary, it just makes me feel happy. So the idea of having Creeping Thyme, I don't plan on eating thyme that I've walked on. But the idea of just walking through and just smelling how wonderful it's going to be, so aromatic. And actually my oldest son asked me, he said, could you please buy some of that? It'd be so cool. This is perennial. It only grows 6 inches tall. And it flowers in year 2. So you might get like if you're wanting to walk barefoot, you might have like a lot of little pollinators, including bees. So you might want to not plant it necessarily where children are walking barefoot. If it's flowering really close to the ground, because I know like when I mow the lawn, that the lawnmower doesn't always get the flowers that are really close to the ground. And if you're walking barefoot, you might have like a little area that you don't want to have to worry about stepping on bees. But I'm really excited about these. I'm going to plant them all over the place. I think they're great. What do we have? What do we have? Do we have more? Oh my gosh, you guys. Cherry Queen. I can't speak today. Cherry Queen Zinnia. Some people say Zinnia. I say Zinnia. I'm probably saying it wrong, but you know what? I really don't care. Because you know what? Who's got time for caring? Cherry Queen Zinnia. They're going to be really beautiful and red. 36 inches tall. Sow them outside. Robed in crimson. I just really love that color. This beautiful cherry red Cherry Queen Zinnia. Wow, look at that. So you talk about the little flowers in the middle. Those little petals, those little yellow petals in the middle. So dainty and beautiful. It's like detail work, you know, that you got to appreciate God's handiwork. Love those. So nice. Then obviously I was like in love with zinnias, and I was like, hello, I need some more zinnias. These are going to be 36 inches tall. They are the same kind of deal. They're real zinnias. These are the Dahlia flowered zinnias. So I mentioned before, I thought some of those other ones look like dahlias. They're big and puffy. Some zinnias look more like daisies to me, with a little ring of tiny flowers in the middle. These are more puffy, like a dahlia, and so they're actually called Dahlia flowered, and you have like lots of colors here. So if you are only buying one pack of zinnias, you might do something like this, where they have lots of variety. Down to the bottom of the box, but this is where it's really heavy. Okay, what do we have here, my friends? Red Garnet Amaranth. Okay, so amaranth are amazing. By the way, so amaranth seeds are so tiny. So you can just imagine how many seeds you get for a pound. Now, you can buy amaranth in some grocery stores, but you won't usually know what kind it is. It will just say amaranth, and people use it for cooking and baking and sprouting. You can actually pop it. I haven't done that, but apparently you can. I imagine that'd be the tiniest pop amaranth you've ever seen in your life, because they're so tiny. Garnet amaranth are beautiful. I was looking at Love Lies Bleeding, because Love Lies Bleeding was the first amaranth I ever planted. It has like green foliage with the big, beautiful red spike that like hangs down and kind of looks like it's like weeping or drooping. And it's so beautiful. And I planted it in really small pots, and they actually grew really small. They can get a lot larger than how I grew them. But the Love Lies Bleeding is more expensive than the Red Garnet. And honestly, I think the Red Garnet's maybe prettier. I do love because it was my first, I think Love Lies Bleeding is like my favorite. But Red Garnet is so pretty, and since it was cheaper and it's a whole pound, I went ahead and got this one instead because of the price. And so it still has those beautiful red flowers, but then the leaves are also that red color. So that will look really striking in the garden. I actually got another kind of amaranth for free at a seed swap the other day, but obviously it wasn't a whole pound. So this is nice because I can have students planting them. We can talk about ancient civilizations and how amaranth was made illegal by the Spaniards who came and conquered the Aztecs, because the Aztecs actually had a ritual, which I think by most modern cultures you would probably agree was probably evil. They would mix blood from sacrifices with the seeds and when they planted them. So it was a cultural thing back in those days that the Spaniards were so offended by it that they made the plant itself illegal, and it was illegal for a really long time. So it's kind of like one of those ancient lost, they call it a grain, but it's not a grain, it's a seed. But I did a lot of research on it when I first started planting the Love Lies Bleeding. And so they're all like all those amaranths. They have some that are green. They've got like on Baker Creek heirloom seeds. They have like this giant one that has like the biggest seed heads. Like they're just enormous. So it depends on how you want to grow it. If you want to grow it for the greens, you can eat the greens. You can eat the seeds. You can grow it for the flowers. You can grow it for like floral arrangements. There's really so much you can do with amaranth. And I love the idea of having like an edible landscape that's kind of like a gray man crop. So these are edible. Not all of the seeds I have today are edible. I'd have to do more research on some of them because, like I said, I'm getting more into some flowers that are not all not all of them are things I've planted before, but I've planted a lot. This might be the last package. Nope, I fell underneath it. There's more than one. There's more than one, you guys. Okay, what is this one here? Ooh, this is sweet basil. I got a whole pound of sweet basil. So I won't bore you with all the facts. You know what sweet basil is. Okay, I love caprese salads. They are like my favorite. I love fresh basil. I love it in salads. I love it in like Italian food. If you're going to make a lasagna or spaghetti or anything like that, or if you're going to make your own little pesto, sweet basil is the best. Now, they have a lot of different kinds of basils, and sweet basil is one of the ones that they have marked as cheaper. And the other ones I thought about, I was like, I like them too, but this is so versatile. I know I'd use it the most. My other favorite basil is called blue spice basil, and I think I got that from Baker Creek. It was just a seed packet, and it was really nice. But a lot of people have told me they didn't like blue spice basil. But almost everybody loves sweet basil. Sweet basil. They also have Genovese, and they also have like a larger leaf basil that has bigger, leaves. So it's probably very similar to sweet basil. So I just got the sweet basil. It's a lot because basil seeds are tiny. By the way, you can also buy basil seeds in bulk at like an Asian store. Now, I wouldn't know an Asian grocery or a halal market. They have what will they call it? I want to say it's like fuzzy drink or something like that. They have it where people like will put the seeds in the cup and let the seeds, I guess, swell up and then they drink it or something. So I don't know what variety of basil they are, but I do have like a pack of that, and I figured I will plant it and see what it turns out to be. Because a lot of times if you buy something at a grocery store, it will tell you like, oh, it's basil or it's amaranth, but it won't always tell you the exact variety. So that's sweet basil. And then I think this is probably the last packet. Nope, it's not. It's not the last one. So this one here is new to me, and I'm excited because I really think like Queen Anne's lace is beautiful. And then there are some like plants that are very similar that have that umbral shape to them that are actually like deadly. So I want the look without the fear. Okay, so I bought this here. This is called Bishop's Flower. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I was gonna buy some baby's breath, but I read online that they are actually very dangerous. So if you know anything about baby's breath, go ahead and comment below and let me know what your thoughts are. But I thought about buying baby's breath because when I was a little girl, I loved putting baby's breath in my hair. And there's also that song. I thought, well, isn't that cute? And then I read something about it being very toxic. So go ahead and comment below what you know about baby's breath. So this is Bishop's Flower. And there's a scientific name. It's like Magus? I'm not sure. But this is can you actually see? It's an annual. Oh, my focusing is, oh, there we go. No, it's an annual. It flowers in year 1 because it's an annual, so it has to. It grows to 2 feet tall, and you plant it in the spring. It sometimes is mistaken for Queen Anne's lace. It's a lovely annual. It's famous for their long-lasting beauty in fresh and dried floral arrangements. So I want to do that. I want to do dried floral arrangements. It's easy germination. Sow in spring. Not very deep. Don't overwater. It tolerates drought when it's an adult, when it's mature. To prevent reseeding, you can deadhead the flowers. So this is really beautiful. And I want to do some more research on this plant because Bishop's Flower is new to me. If you have grown it before and you know something about it, comment below. But I'm going to show you in other videos whenever I plant it how it does for me. And this is probably the last seed packet. Yes, this is the last one. It must be a pound at least. So these are the Bright Lights Sulphur Cosmos, and I feel like they are fragile. I'm feeling the package and I feel like they are. I might do another video where I show you what all these seeds look like. Comment below if you think that would be interesting to you to see what the seeds look like, because they are all very different. In my classroom, when I have my gardening class, I actually take the seeds out and I show the kids what the different types of seeds look like, because they all look so different. Some of them don't even look like they would be seeds. In our minds, you see an apple seed and you go, that's a seed. That shape is the seed I recognize. You might see like a wheat seed and recognize what that looks like. But a lot of people see like marigold seeds and you're like, wait, that looks like a stick. Or calendula seeds look so different, you know. So if you're interested in seeing what the seeds look like, comment below and I will do another video. These are called Bright Light Sulphur Cosmos. Aren't those pretty? They kind of look like marigolds to me. It looks like marigolds and zinnias had a baby. So this looks pretty easy and pretty much like all the other plant varieties that I had. Easy to grow, drought tolerant when they're mature, don't overwater, direct plant outside. So no fuss, no muss, you guys. This is easy. And it says they tested in October 2024, which means it wasn't harvested this season, which would be unusual to have available anyway. Usually if you're buying this 2025 right now, the seed you will have purchased would be from 2024 usually, and they have done a germination test in October and it's 90%. So like if I wanted to give these away like next year, I would just do a germination test and see what the percentage is. As long as it's over 70%, I'm going to feel pretty good about giving seeds away. And I just would say, you know, the germination rate on this is 70% or 80% or whatever it happens to be. If I'm giving away as a gift, then people know I planted one seed, didn't grow. Okay, we'll plant 10 seeds. You're going to get something. And then you're going to be able to save seeds from that plant, right? So once you have your seeds growing, I'm going to do a video real soon on harvesting seeds from my garden and how I seed save different types of flower seeds and other seeds. So make sure you click like and subscribe so you can see that. But in this order, I got the Cosmos, a pound of these Bright Light Sulphur Cosmos. That's a pound of seeds there. A pound of the Bishop's Flower. Beautiful. Can you imagine what my garden's going to look like next year? It's going to be incredible. I got sweet basil, a pound of sweet basil. And think how much you pay for basil in those little clamshell containers. It's so expensive, and you can buy a plant at the grocery store and that's expensive. Like you buy like a couple of those and that's the same price as a pound of seeds. I've got these creeping thyme, this is just a regular small packet. I mean, it's not small, but it's like compared to the other ones, right? It's 1/4 of an ounce versus a pound. Okay, for context. We've got about 1/4 of a pound of zinnia, these California giant zinnias. The 1/4 of a pound of Cottage Pinks, 1/4 of a pound of Clarkia, 1/4 of a pound of the Carmine King California poppies, a pound of the red garnet amaranth, 1/4 of a pound of the canary bird zinnia. This is only an ounce, it's only an ounce. It's a lot of seeds. Only an ounce of these not actual zinnias, creeping zinnias. 1/4 of a pound of these cherry queen zinnia. 1/4 of a pound of the early sunflower, which is a native. A pound of Dwarf Sungold teddy bear sunflowers. 1/4 of a pound of Candystripe Cosmos. And a partridge in a pear tree. And 1/4 of a pound of the Dahlia flowered zinnias. Let's crack this open and see what zinnia seeds look like. These are the zinnia seeds. So tiny and light. Kind of reminds me of like an apple seed, but like if it was deflated and dry. Those are zinnias. All right, everybody, be good, be sweet, grow garden if you want to eat, and I'll see you soon. By the way, not all the things that grow are things you can eat, but they attract pollinators that pollinate the things that you can eat.